The last thing my father said before he closed the door was a sentence I will never forget. If you walk away from this family, don't expect to come back. I stood there frozen, a small suitcase in one hand, tears in my eyes, and my entire future hanging in the balance. My name is Emily Harper, and 10 years ago, my family made a choice that shattered my heart. They chose their pride over their daughter. Looking back now, I realize the signs had always been there. My family cared deeply about appearances. What people thought. What neighbors said. What relatives whispered behind closed doors. To them, reputation was everything. Happiness came second. Maybe even third. I was the youngest child in the family. The dreamer. The one who asked too many questions. The one who wanted a different life. And unfortunately, that became a problem. When I met Ryan, everything changed. Ryan wasn't rich. He didn't come from a powerful family. He didn't have a prestigious last name. What he had was kindness. The kind of kindness that showed up every single day. The kind that couldn't be bought. The kind that made me feel valued. For the first time in my life, I felt understood. When we got engaged, I was convinced my family would eventually accept him. I believed love would be enough. I couldn't have been more wrong. The moment I announced our engagement, the atmosphere changed. My mother stopped smiling. My father became distant. My older sister openly criticized Ryan whenever she had the chance. At first, I thought they just needed time. Weeks became months. Months became arguments. Arguments became ultimatums. Then one evening, everything exploded. My parents invited me over for dinner. I thought they wanted to talk. Instead, they handed me a choice. Them. Or Ryan. Nothing in between. No compromise. No discussion. Just a decision. I remember staring at them in disbelief. These were the people who had raised me. The people who claimed they loved me. Yet their love suddenly came. With the conditions. Last thing my father said before he closed the door was a sentence I will never forget. Pointed toward the door. If you walk away from this family, just like that, don't expect to come back. I lost my family. I stood there frozen. No calls. A small suitcase in one hand. No invitations. Tears in my eyes. Nothing. And my entire future hanging in the balance. But what I didn't know that night, my name is Emily Harper, was that losing them would eventually lead me to finding myself. My family made a choice 10 years that shattered my heart. Life would force them to confront a truth they never expected. Looking back now, the first year was the hardest. Had always been there. Every holiday hurt. My family cared deeply about appearances. Felt incomplete. What every family photo online reminded me of what I had lost. What relatives whispered Ryan tried his best to help. Doors. He held me through sleepless nights. Reputation was everything. Listened to my fears. Happiness came second. Reminded me that I wasn't alone. Maybe even third. But I was the youngest child in the family. Especially when the people who hurt you are the people you love. Too many questions. Meanwhile, the one who wanted a different carried on without me. And unfortunately, my sister got married. That became a problem. I wasn't invited. When I met Ryan, my grandparents celebrated anniversaries. Ryan wasn't rich. I wasn't included. He didn't come from a powerful family. Vacations came. He didn't have a prestigious last name. I never received a single phone call. What he had was kindness. For years, I wondered if they ever missed me. Showed up every single day. If they ever regretted what happened. The kind that couldn't be bought. If they ever thought about made me feel valued. The answer seemed obvious. For the first time in my life, I felt understood. So eventually, I stopped waiting. I was convinced my family would eventually building our future. I believed love would be enough. Saved every dollar more wrong. Made sacrifices. The moment I announced our engagement, and slowly the atmosphere changed. A small apartment became a beautiful home. My father became temporary jobs became my older sister openly criticized Ryan whenever she had the chance. Then came the biggest surprise of all. I thought they just needed time. We launched a small business. Months became arguments. It barely survived. Arguments became but year after year, it grew. Then one evening, everything exploded. Opportunities expanded. My parents invited me over for dinner. Before we knew it, I thought they wanted to talk. A company far more successful they handed me a choice. Ever imagined. Them. For the first time, I felt nothing proud. In between. Not because of compromise. Because of what it represented. Just a decision. Proof that my family's predictions had been wrong. Proof that were the people who had raised me. Proof the people who claimed they loved their approval. Yet their love one afternoon came. Everything changed. The last thing my father said before he closed the door was a sentence my sister's never forget. The same sister who hadn't spoken to me in nearly a decade to come back. I stared at the screen there frozen. Part of me wanted to ignore it. In one hand. Part of me wanted tears in my eyes. Curiosity and my entire future when I hanging in the balance. Her voice sounded different. My name is Emily Harper, smaller, and 10 years ago, my family made a choice that shattered my heart. Mom needs help. They chose their pride over their daughter. Changed everything. Looking back suddenly, I realized the family that had erased me remembered I existed. My family cared deeply about appearances. For the first time in years. They needed something from me. A week later, I found myself sitting in a hospital room. My mother looked older, frail, nothing like the strong woman I remembered. For a moment, neither of us spoke. 10 years of silence sat between us. Then she began crying. Real tears. Not dramatic. Not performative. Just honest. "I'm sorry," she whispered. The words felt strange. For years, I had imagined hearing them. Now that they finally arrived, I wasn't sure how to feel. My mother explained everything. My father had recently passed away. His final months had been filled with regret. He never admitted it publicly, but privately, he often spoke about me, asked about me, missed me. The revelation hit me harder than I expected. For years, I believed they had simply stopped caring. Now I was learning the truth was far more complicated. Pride had trapped them, and pride had cost them everything. My sister eventually confessed something too. She had wanted to reconnect years earlier, but nobody wanted to be the first person to reach out. Everyone waited. Everyone hesitated. Everyone assumed there would always be more time. There wasn't. Life rarely gives unlimited chances. My mother didn't ask for money. She didn't ask for favors. She only asked for one thing: a chance. A chance to rebuild what had been destroyed. And in that moment, I faced a choice. Hold on to the pain, or finally let it go. Forgiveness wasn't easy. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't erase the past. But I realized something important. Carrying anger had never protected me. It had only kept the wound open. So slowly, carefully, I allowed healing to begin. Months later, my mother met her grandchildren for the first time. My sister became part of our lives again. Conversations replaced silence. Effort replaced distance. And while things were never exactly the same, they became real. The greatest revenge wasn't watching my family suffer. It wasn't making them regret their choices. It wasn't proving them wrong. The greatest revenge was living well, building a beautiful life despite their rejection, finding happiness despite their absence, and refusing to let their decisions define my future. Sometimes the people closest to us hurt us the most. Sometimes pride destroys relationships that should have lasted forever. But sometimes life gives us an opportunity to choose something better. Not because others deserve it, because we deserve peace. In the end, my family chose pride over me. And they lost 10 years they could never get back. But life changed everything. Not through revenge. Not through punishment. Through truth. Through growth. And through the realization that love is always stronger than pride. And that's a lesson I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.